What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John from the GamerDuo here, welcoming you to some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Episode 3, The Turnabout Samurai. It's been about a week. I was dumb. I was like, let me do one episode, and then literally decided to do the one episode, and then realized, oh, I'm gonna be busy the entire week. Well, so this is gonna be a fun trial because I forgot like everything except for the fact that it's my two hotties that are comparing themselves to try to figure out everything that's going on. So let's go ahead and get the selected data loaded. We're defending Mr. Will Powers. That's all I remember. Because Mr. Will Powers... Oh my gosh! We're 3 days from my birthday and we get to defend Will Powers. What a great early birthday present. 10 a.m. Okay. The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Oh, it is Edgeworth still doing it. Oh, is he just gonna be like the primary person now? Mr. I can break all the laws? Probably. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show you the court that are shown to the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed these heinous crimes. The evidence is presented during the trial will point to all of this. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to some testimonies. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call their first witness to the stand. Very well. I will call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Oh, first boy? Okay, we don't have, like, anything in here either, from what I remember. Yeah, okay. Because we got the guide map, the autopsy, the card key, and his photo. Oh boy. We don't have a lot of evidence to work with. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I will explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, the most important to grasp the layout of the studio. See? This here is the employee area. The actor did a run-through during their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady who works there at the studio was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there's a gate, you see. Past there are studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then, after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now, jump ahead later that day, 5 p.m., the production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to the whole thing again? Why are we asking me this? I feel like this is not important and I can say skip it and it would be fine. Like, sure. I think I could probably remember that. Yeah, I think I can. The murder weapon was the spear. That was also the most competent we've ever heard Gumshoe, by the way. Let me just say that right now. That was the most competent we've heard him. How medieval. Samurai spear has been added to the court record. Your Honor, this case is quite simple. If you ask one question, and that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Oh, it's Mrs. Oldbag, who I can't actually, like, literally freaking read because she goes so fast. Got it. Okay, this is gonna be great. This is so great testimonial. Will the witness declare her name? Oh, what? Oh, no. Oh, no. Aren't you a handsome fellow. I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need to be so embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Your name, please. Oh, uh-oh. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Wendy, old bag, dearie. So just call me Grandma. Oh my God, Wendy, slow your roll, Wendy. Oh my God, I cannot read you. Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Oh no! Oh no! Edgeworth. Objecting your own witness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony? Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have had to pass by you? You know your stuff, dearie. See, he's who you should be going for, Mrs. Oldbag. You may begin your testimony. She's sure one hell of an old bag. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through since that morning. I, well, had to run some errands that morning. Anyway, when it was 1 p.m., I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30, right? Interesting to me because a man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he had been headed toward the studio. You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. I don't need to question that. That's pretty much set in stone. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through since the morning. That's fair. I, well, had to run errands. What kind of errands? What do you mean by running errands? Let's go, Phoenix! Said exactly what I said. What kind of errands? Oh, well, you know. Answer the question. Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers observing, you know? Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper, I told you the luck, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always. I never missed one in all my years. Wow. I want to see a Steelworth Samurai run through too. That is not why she wanted to see it, buddy. Maya, that is not why she wanted to see it at all. But, you know, innocence is bliss. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Anyway, it was 1 p.m. when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30, right? Yes. Interesting to me because a certain man walked by me at 2. What do you mean? 2? Are you sure? Sure as spit. Well, who was this man? Really, you should try not to get so excited at your age. You might strain something. Oh my gosh. Now. Don't get your skivvies all in a bunch. I will tell you who it was. It was Powers. That man right there, heading toward the studio. Now I want to present the photo. Because are we sure it was Powers? Let me get this straight, old bag. Mrs. Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai Defender of the Neo Old Tokyo. Mrs. Oldbag. This is the Mr. Powers you saw. Of course. Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly see that that's Powers, right? No, they can't! Is Edward on our side right now? Hello? You're literally supposed to be the What? Well, I mean, I wonder. Is Edgeworth on our side? What? True, Mr. Powers does play a role of the Steel Samurai. But that does not mean that Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Mrs. Witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Ugh, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised. That's what I'm getting interested about. Edgeworth is actually, like, on edge this time. However, it is worth noting that he might be feigning this, but I don't think he is. Also, that was a top tier freaking pun, and I'm proud of myself for that. However, I've been on like a roll yesterday. I was hanging out with like mom and dad, and I just boom, 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 blasting them all out. It was actually hilarious. Anyway, moving on from that side tangent. The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make sure, or please make known all information in your possession ahead of time. How was I supposed to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed of all of you. Anyway, I showed the photo of the young detective to the young detective. He told me this isn't good evidence, pal. He didn't even look at this, or he didn't even take a second look. Wow. Old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof then. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props, and it was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now, look at the picture. You can see he's dragging his leg clear as day. That's how I knew his Powers. Happy? But both of his legs are like that. So he sprained his ankle. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. See, am I supposed to just... Is this the, like, press? Whippersnapper! Hey, I haven't said anything yet. I have you know that I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I've said from here on is straight and narrow, up and up. You today were always fighting about each other, always pointing fingers, and with that and that, it's enough to make old women like me cry, Mr. Wright. For all of our sakes, try not to upset this witness. I mean, what if I upset her? Then it's fine. I think Edgeworth has met his match. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. You did, huh? Trip and fall? Yes, to think of it, he was supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him. Of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Yeah, you did. You go, Mrs. Oldbag. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant at the time? Oh, her? She was cleaning the backdrops, I think. She didn't even know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. He broke one of the props and it was a big mess. He broke a prop. Sure did. His own samurai spear. His samurai spear? The murder weapon. Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. I'd better write this down in the court record. A break in the shaft had been mended with duct tape. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he couldn't walk around, but he went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot. Okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there's one thing that still bothers me, which is, where's this Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, it's not that important. I don't think the judge is supposed to be like, this is the thing that's bothering me, go prove that. But okay, judge. Yeah, go for it. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes? And it is clear that that person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure, Your Honor? Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, and we have to agree, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. No more in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have not considered that possibility also. Then allow me to remove the doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice, dearie. Witness account continue. The time poor Hammer's death was 2:30 true. The only person I saw going to the studio before then was Mr. Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, then I would have seen them. So, if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. The time of poor Hammer's death is 2:30. True. Yes. The only person I saw go into the studio before then was Mr. Will Powers. Okay. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all. Nobody suspicious looking, right? No one else went there. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before one? Everyone was in the employee area then, and I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? The witnesses answered the question. Anyone going into the studio would have to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, Mr. Edgy Boy. Edgy Boy. Old Windbag sure has balls, or, well, you know what I mean. Old Windbag has a way of skipping over important details, after all. Or, for the matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. Damn! The time of poor Hammer's death is 2:30. Oh, we're back. We've looped back. How do you know that? Didn't I just explain? I gave notice to the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about being a secret pal, he told me everything. Oh, I see. Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. The only person I saw going into the studio before that was Will Powers. But are we going based off the photo? Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sir, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes here, it automatically takes a picture. And here I thought you didn't know your head from your hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer is in the guard station, or it is also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, you might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of this photo are printed the words, October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know it means that it was taken at 2 p.m. on October 15th. Really, Sonny? Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2. The computer only held onto data, or held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't there be a photo number 1? If it really was the only photo? Order! Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that is what I want to ask the witness. The evidence shows that not only one, but 2 people went by the studio that day. Yet, there is data for only one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself. Me? Watch your mouth, you little whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that, would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand any of these newfangled computer thingies, oh my god. Edgy boy, help! Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Huh. Some help you are, you whippersnappers. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper. Something the matter, Mrs. Oldbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate, someone other than the Steel Samurai. Oh, yes, I suppose you put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. This judge. I do feel bad for this judge. Not gonna lie. Like, all of the lying. These people know that they're under oath, right? Like, they're not supposed to lie. This judge is so nice. Because the fact that these people aren't lying under oath is absolutely wild. But you know what? This judge does not prosecute, and that's part of the problem. But it's okay. It's fine. The other person. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. That is so convenient. Mrs. Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny. I only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, right, please begin your cross-examination. Well, let's say that was her and was unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Also, Maya's still being on the witness, like, the defense stand is like, Maya, you're not supposed to be here, but okay. The other person. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security camera and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking. That seems suspicious. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part. For the most part. This is a murder trial, Mrs. Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch a suspicious looking photo. Well, Powers, did I? I think she's missing the point. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? Huh, a fanboy. Fanboy. Steel Samurai fanboys, real freaks if you ask me. They get information about rehearsals and oh my gosh, from gosh who knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second, didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your exact words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain. I told you they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers. Kids? So, on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order! Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studio that day. One was the Steel Samurai who was dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked about to be in 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes, well, we see his type every single day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy, 2nd or 3rd grade, huh? I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for the young boy to wield the the samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. The court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. October 18th, 11:08 a.m. Hey, it was only an hour. Look at us go. Hi, Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Powers? Yeah, yes. Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest. So, who was the Steel Samurai in the security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone who wanted this, or who would want a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does that leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick! Whatever are we going to do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else who has been conceivably, or that could have conceivably done this. Right! And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right. But if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick. It's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on the matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing changed. The other person who went to the studio was a boy roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence. But there's still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for the verdict guilty of the guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order! Interesting. Let us hear what you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right, great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So, who was this person? The other person that could have committed the murder? I want to go with the security lady. I really do. We're gonna go with it. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about it that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about that injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What? Whippersnapper? Order! Order! Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Mrs. Oldbag to you. Mrs. Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could briefly have left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume. Then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in the costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes 2.0, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edward pounces? Doesn't he usually jump in with an objection with some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on the matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What is that supposed to mean? Oh, you're all thick. I did it. Is that it? Edgy boy, don't you just sit there and do something? What's my move? Now's my chance to take this the whole way. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Mrs. Oldbag's actions on that day. But why would I do something that horrible to poor Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Miss Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute! What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy! The one whose photo I erased! He's only a grade schooler though, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it? That doesn't matter! When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops! Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Oh, is it to be nice to the kids and mean to your or is it to be nice to the kids and mean to your elders day, Mr. Whippersnapper? I have proof. Proof? Indeed. Then let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed the murder. The scene of the murder, as we all know, was in Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key? I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? Ah! The windbag, speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend the proceedings of this current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Mr. Windy. What was her name? Something old bag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned. Wait a second! Uh-oh. I am not gonna sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me! I am talking. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk. Mrs. Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony again? Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify! I thought this was my lips was sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people in the studio on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? They told me just to pretend they hadn't seen the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not going to let them get away scot-free. Mrs. Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. Nah, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of Oldbag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. My lips were sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios the day of the murder. Who were those people? Well, the director and the producer for the starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through without their action, or other action scene without their director? Of course. Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in Studio 2, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? There was a Studio 2? We literally already covered this, Phoenix. Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, if you're right, would you like to continue a cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but... They said they had nothing to do with it, see? Miss Oldbag, this is the trial for a murder. I know, silly. They were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side. So you got your bonus and you still talked? I think I've asked all my questions I have to ask. Your Honor, we've learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer, and some bigwigs all were present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's points. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Mrs. Oldbag, and more information about the other people that we were just told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. The court is adjourned. October 18th, 1:04 p.m. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Oh, really? It was nothing. Should I? We'll be going down to the studios to do more investigating. We want to find out more about the director and the producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. And now's my chance to get material for cross-examination. So, Nick, have we figured out who it was in the Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been Miss Wendy Oldbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Poor Wendy Oldbag. I feel kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studio. Right, we'll be back to visit you soon. Thanks, thanks, guys. I mean, I'd visit you every fucking second of the day, but, you know, that's just me. Also, a very quick episode with no editing. I love that for myself. That helps me so good. We did great. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Ace Attorney. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And we'll see you guys in the next episode when we, I guess, get more information, which means that I won't be finishing episode 3 today. Sad, but it's fine. We are out here. But hey, I mean, to be fair, if I don't finish, then that means I can think about Will Powers more. Yeah, that's my logic. Anyway, love you all. Bye!